Hey guys, it's Kevin, and this is going to be for a very special Own It Never Falking Seen It. So, since this week, Mark Wahlberg and Peter Berg's new film, Mile 22, is coming out, I figured that I might as well review the other two films that they have done together that I have yet to see. And of course, this one is going to be for their first collaboration together. It was way back in 2013, and that, of course, is Lone Survivor. And what Lone Survivor is essentially about is we center on a bunch of different Navy SEALs in 2005 Afghanistan, and basically they're leading this mission to take out this Taliban leader and things like that, but they actually decide through some circumstances that they're not going to kill him. Unfortunately, this Taliban leader has already outed them to a bunch of other fighters, and a horrible battle ensues, and basically it turns into every man for himself, and that's really all I'm going to say. So Lone Survivor in general, I was very hesitant with this film. Out of the two Mark Wahlberg and Peter Berg collaborations, this is the one that I was least looking forward to. And again, I do like Mark Wahlberg as an actor. It has nothing to do with that. If you guys know me, though, war films are my least favorite genre. They don't really stick with me a lot. They're really effective in the moment, but they're just not something I can ever see myself watching again. A lot of times they fade from my memory. Sometimes there's like a Hacksaw Ridge or a Dunkirk, but a lot of the time they just don't really resonate with me all that much. Mainly because, at least for me, there's only so much you can do with that genre. There's a lot of repeated themes, and that's why I was very hesitant about Lone Survivor. And unfortunately, while there are a lot of things I do admire about this film, just in general, I really did not like it all that much. This is by no means a terrible film. I do think that there is a lot to like about Lone Survivor, and I can totally understand the appeal. It's just, for me personally, this is easily, I think, the weakest of the three collaborations that these two have done. But we're just getting into it right now, starting off with the cast. And I will say, the cast in this movie is pretty great. I think everyone really does do a very good job. Mark Wahlberg is absolutely the standout here. I really did like his acting in here, particularly in the third act of this movie. He really does have some incredible scenes. I think the rest of the team did work very well together as well. I wouldn't really say anyone really stood out that much to me, but I just thought these guys did work very well together, and I was overall impressed by them in terms of the acting here. But now we get to the thing that does unfortunately hinder my enjoyment, which is the directing and the writing. Now, I will say, Berg's directing, I do think is good here. You know, he does a good job of portraying the story. He does not try to pull any punches whatsoever. He's very to the point. He's very straightforward, and he really does get into the nitty-gritty of what these guys did have to go through, and I think he does a very good job with that. Some of the most intense scenes, I think, are directed very well here. There are points in this film that does actually kind of feel like a horror film, the way he directs it, and I think he just did a very good job with the directing overall. I think definitely the intensity and things like that was very well done. But at the same time, I don't think Berg had that hard of a job, mainly because this story, for me, just is not very interesting, and that really is my biggest problem with this film. For me, at least, and this could be different for some people, but this is just, you know, my personal taste. For me to be invested in a war film, the best ones at least, they have really compelling characters. And there are some exceptions like Dunkirk and things like that, but most of them have characters that I can latch onto, that I can identify with. And the film does spend a considerable amount of time seeing these guys and seeing what they're doing, but it doesn't really do anything with them character-wise. We see them goofing off and having fun, but we don't really see anything with them character-wise. And for me, there just really wasn't much to latch onto there. I never really cared that much for these characters. And that would not be a problem if this movie did not feature a lot of the characters dying, because I don't think it's a spoiler to say that a lot of these guys do not make it out. And when these, you know, casualties do occur, I just didn't really feel anything. Is it somewhat effective? Yes, and I do think it is well done, but I just did not really feel anything towards them. I just was not really that into it. I will say the central conflict of this film I actually do really enjoy. The idea of, are we really going to kill this Taliban leader when there's like a child present? And what do we really do in this situation? You know, is this a good idea for them? Because they're ready to just terminate this mission altogether, but there's a part of them that kind of wants to do, but at the same time, their morals are very much questioned. And I do think there are some very interesting questions in there, and I'm not going to deny that at all. And I do think that story, like I said, is very interesting. It's just the main stuff going on in this movie I just did not care about very much. And again, has nothing to do with the cast. I just did not really care about this story overall. It was not really one that was connecting with me all that much until the third act, which I will say the title for this movie is very misleading, because from the title, you would think that most of this movie is Wahlberg all alone. But that really does not happen till the third act of this movie. It's not till the third act when he's really the quote-unquote lone survivor. Sure, the title is misleading in that way, but I just thought most of this movie was going to be Wahlberg on his own. And I will say that is the strongest part of the film. Seeing him have to defend for himself and have to take these, enemies on single-handedly and find a way to get out of the situation safely and kind of basically try to make up for the mistakes that the rest of his team did, I do think is very well done. The problem is, it's the last 20 minutes of the movie, and that was really the only time where I really felt fully engrossed in what was going on. And I just was not that just that into the story. And again, that is a bit of a problem for me. I just did not really feel the characterization was up to par. And again, I know for some people that might not be an issue, but for me, that did definitely hinder my enjoyment of this film overall. Getting the cinematography, though, cinematography is fantastic here. There are so many well-shot scenes. Any scene that involves combat, I was very much into. There are definitely some very intense scenes in this film, particularly this one shootout but this one scene where they're ambushed and these bullets are just flying at them, I thought was really intense. It was very well done. And in the moment, I definitely did enjoy a lot of the action sequences. They are very devastating. And again, they really don't hold back. They do not hold back with showing what these men had to go through, the sacrifices they had to make, the things they had to endure, because, yeah, it is very tragic what happened to them. I am not at all discrediting the work that these guys did, because for sure, what they did is very important. I just did not really care about them that much on an emotional level. But cinematography-wise, I do think this film is very well done in that regard. The score I do enjoy here, and the editing, I do think the movie is a little too short, honestly. I think if we had at least 20 more minutes to really delve into these characters and give us a little bit more time before they do go out in the mission, then I might have felt a bit more connected. Then I might have actually been a little bit more into what was going on. But just overall, I just was not really into it, I have to say. And again, it's unfortunate because I do appreciate what these men had to do. I do appreciate what that this film is trying to pay tribute to them. It definitely is important. I mean, still today, there are people fighting in Afghanistan, and I understand the importance of that. I'm not at all trying to say that because I did not enjoy this film as much as some other people have, that I, for some reason, don't respect what they do, because I have tons of respect for them. For anyone, that is a very daring job, and hats off to you if you're able to accomplish something like that. I think it's incredible, but just in general, I really was not all that into this story. It just wasn't something that really did resonate with me. There are some very intense scenes for sure. Wahlberg is phenomenal in this film, but just overall, I do think out of the three Berg-Wahlberg collaborations, this for me at least is the weakest. I know there are a lot of people that do enjoy this film, but just for me, I am going to give Lone Survivor overall a C+. Like I said, this is not at all a bad movie. There definitely were some things that I really did enjoy about it, but just overall, it really is not stuck with me all that much. And the other film that these two have done together have stuck with me a lot more than this one really did. We'll get to that in my next review, but that's really it for this video. Hope you guys enjoy it. Well, let me know what you guys thought of Lone Survivor overall. Love to hear your thoughts, and I'm going to ask this in my next video as well, but what is your favorite collaboration of the three Peter Berg and Mark Wahlberg films? That's something I definitely do want to know. You know, a lot of people have different answers for that, but that's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoy it. We'll see you guys in my next video, and we'll see you guys for that. Okay, bye.